Hello, students and parents. It's good to come to you again. Today we started activity 3.8. It's called Presenting Voices. If you look at the first learning target, our goal here is to research a specific Holocaust victim and present a narrative that captures his or her story. We began class with this first question. It says, during the Holocaust, many people fit into one of the following categories, based on either their circumstances or decisions that they made. Try to think of individual examples of each from your reading, research, and or prior knowledge. Which group do you think was the largest? We didn't worry about the smallest, we were just worried about the largest. So in World War II, during the Holocaust, which of these groups have the largest number of people? Victims, the perpetrators are the people who did the crimes of the Holocaust, all the crimes against humanity, the rescuers, people trying to save the Jews and save the other people in the Holocaust, or the bystanders. I added to this as well, and I said, okay, let's move it to CAUSE. CAUSE has about 1,500 students. If you were to take the entire student population of CAUSE and look at the issue of bullying on campus, would the vast majority of people be involved? Would they be a victim of bullying? Would they be perpetrators of bullying people? They advocate it and they want to bully people. Would it be rescuers, people trying to help people from being bullied, or be bystanders? And the interesting thing was, every year a student will ask me, Mr. Lawrence, why is it important that we study this? Why is it important that we have to learn about this every year? But the other huge question is, how could something like this happen? Something this big, this large? These two questions today prove this point. Question one, the students overwhelmingly said that the majority of the Europeans during World War II were bystanders. As these things happened, they were afraid to get involved. And they also told me that when it came to CAUSE and bullying, the majority were bystanders. They were afraid to get involved. One student told me they didn't have the authority to get involved. They didn't have the authority to make someone stop. And I said, well, that's why you in a group, you need to stand together and either rescue the person, pull them out of the bullying situation, invite them away from the bully, or just, tell the bully to leave alone and get someone else to get involved. This is how we started class today, just discussing, are we victims, are we perpetrators, rescuers, or bystanders? Are we part of the problem or part of the solution, my dad used to say. We went from there to discussing the meat of what we did in class today. This chart is our homework assignment today, which is funny because we did it in class, or we started it in class. We gave out Holocaust ID cards today, and these Holocaust ID cards, everybody got a chance to pick them, had someone who was involved in the Holocaust, someone who was a victim of the Holocaust. We had to record their name, their date of birth, their place of birth in the first row, then give a sentence or two about their biographical background in the second row. Third row is their experiences from 33 to 39. The fourth row is what happened to them during the war years, and then the last row is future and fate. These cards, I printed them out and gave them out, but if you want to, you can go to the Holocaust Museum. It's https://www.USHMM, United States Holocaust Memorial Museum.org. When you come to this first page here, select Remember Survivors and Victims. And on the left, the second choice is identification cards. If you click this, you can go by name if you want to search by names, last names. You can click by pictures if you're interested in what the people look like, or you can browse all 600 cards. If you were not in my class or were not able to pick a card today because you were sick or whatever the reason for the absence, feel free to browse this site and find the person you're interested in that you'd like to write about. The first thing you do, I'm going to click this guy here. He looks kind of serious. Pavel Voss. If I look at this, there's his name, there's his date of birth, there's where he's born in Poland. So that gives me the first row. The second row will be this first paragraph. It tells you he's a Roman Catholic. He fled to Germany to avoid conscription in the Russian army. So he ran from the Russians and ended up in the hands of the Germans. From 33 to 39, the next row, the third row, it tells you what happened to him. The fourth row, the war years, 40 to 44, it tells you what happens. And then it gets to what they call the fate and future. He was arrested in Warsaw during August of 44 in an uprising and deported as a political prisoner. And after the war, he returned to Warsaw. So thank goodness this man survived. We would take this basic information. Like I said, you'll take summarize this paragraph in one or two sentences in each of those appropriate rows in the graphic organizer. And that's the homework grade. That's the 10% credit grade, because this is the easiest thing you're going to do. For homework tonight, we're doing the test grade. A test for homework, well, it's not a test. I'm asking the students, we're doing an assignment called Based on a True Story. So if Pavel Voss were my guy, I would take the facts I wrote in the graphic organizer about Pavel Voss to keep me in a chronological timeline, and I would write a first-person narrative as if I am Pavel. I'm taking on the character of Pavel, and I'm writing from his point of view of what happened to me and all the things I went through. It needs to be a minimum of 1 page, but it really needs to be more than that if it's going to be a test grade, and it has to be first-person point of view. And that creative personal narrative, that is going to be the test grade, because that takes a little more effort than filling out a chart. And then when the students come into class tomorrow, we're going to give the first 30 minutes of class to let all the students sit at their tables, and they'll present to the other 5 people at their table. They'll present their story of what they wrote about their character. Like I would present my narrative of Pavel Voss, and I would tell my story, which is telling his story. And in doing this, we're going to keep the memory of these people alive. So this was the major thing we did today. The homework grade, like I said, was the chart, the graphic organizer, back on page 199, right here. The test grade was writing your essay, your first-person narrative, based on the person you saw. Like I had Pavel Voss, I would write the story as if I am Pavel. And then the classwork grade would be coming in tomorrow doing the presentations. I'll be walking around with my clipboard, just checking off people I see doing the presentations. I'm not looking for the accuracy or the theatrical greatness of the presentation. I'm looking to see, did your student present? So it's that easy. If students don't have their paper tomorrow, I told them they can bring them in on Wednesday. The catch is we're not going to stop class and do presentations on Wednesday. So they will, excuse me, they will lose the presentation grade because they missed the chance to present. That'll be a 0 in a classwork grade, but that essay will still be the test grade. That's why I made the presentation not worth as much as the essay itself. So this is our assignment for today. We're calling this Activity 3.8, Presenting Voices. Should be at the top of the paper. And the essay, just call it Based on a True Story. We're not trying to have 4-year-olds picking up rocket launchers and attacking concentration camps. It has to be somewhat legitimate to what this person went through as a way of honoring them writing their story, if we could. So wish everybody luck with this. It shouldn't be too hard. If you have any questions, please feel free to text me. I'll help you as I can. I think what I've shared here should have answered most of your questions. But look forward to seeing some great stories and hearing some great presentations tomorrow. Take care and have a good evening.